Good afternoon, good afternoon. I hope this is a great day for you. This is Point of View with Miss Shirley Polk. This is Thursday. It is the 12th of September in the year 2024. The every now and then relationship. That's what we are planning to talk about today. The every now and then relationship. And I am so thankful because God has blessed us to live to see another day. He is awesome. He is great. And we're just thankful, thankful, thankful. Dear God, as I sit before you to speak, I pray to you that my soul you will keep. And if I should die before I finish, I pray to you, dear God, in the name of Jesus, that any outstanding sin you will be forgiven. Amen. And you can probably still hear that sinus effect, but I am doing better. And I haven't, I just thank God, sore throat, and I'm just so happy. But I'm going to go ahead and get into this time for us today, talking about what came to my mind is that talking about the distant relationships, like friendship, that doesn't have to be a romantic relationship. It can be even kinship. But have you ever um, paid attention sometimes and then felt that sometimes a distant relationship is better than just being close to each other all the time? Because I remember when I well, in younger, some years ago, when you know how you visit people and you get to see them maybe every 2 years, maybe every 3 years, and you have such a wonderful, wonderful relationship with them. And then if it happens that you end up moving closer to each other and you get to know each other better, sometimes that doesn't work out so well because you, well, in one case, I'm thinking it would have been better if it had just stayed like it was. We loved each other and we still love each other, but then you find some characteristics out of other people that you wouldn't if you had kept that now and then relationship, like you're in touch with each other as family, but as far as physically being in touch with each other, could be every, like I said, every sometimes 1 year, maybe every 2, 3 years, sometimes even more, and you have such a good relationship. And then when you come together and you spend more time together, sometimes maybe you move closer to each other. Then you learn other traits and characteristics of other people, and sometimes they don't work out so well in each party. Okay, so now what I was saying is, years ago when we got closer to some people, the distance between us got shorter, and we were able to see each other more often. Then we found out characteristics and some traits and things were not so good, and so it ended up being a hurting situation. And I was thinking if we had just kept that long distance every now and then relationship, it would be different. Even though you still love them, and you still I like to see them, but if you had just maintained that every now and then relationship, I think it could have been better. Thank you so much for being with me. So I'm going to go and talk about the week that I figured out, and it was when I typed in what I wanted to talk about. It did bring up some different things, and a lot of it was talking about romance and things like that. But I'm going to talk about is it very well mind, very well mind. I'm going to talk about uh, the relationships, and there are different types according to the author here in Very Well Mind. There are 6 types of relationships and their effect on your life. 6 types of relationships and their effect on your life by Kendrick Cherry, and that's it. and it was updated May the 10th in 2024, and Sabrina Romanoff, Psych D, uh, reviewed it. Types of relationships. Types of relationships. There's romantic feelings of love and attraction through intimacy, commitment, and infatuation. There's a codependent and imbalanced relationship, imbalanced relationship, where one partner typically ta- takes care of the other when there's a casual, often involves sex without commitment. Then there's the open, consensual, non-monogamous relationship where both partners sleep with other people, and then there's a toxic and unhealthy relationship that harms you emotionally, physically, and psychologically. So we have some. Hello, Superintendent Timmons. Thank you for being with me today. Please let me know if you hear me. If I'm coming through real well. Okay, I can hear it from here, but I just want to know. Thank you so much. Talking about these relationships, table of contents, what is a relationship, basic types of relationships, defining types of relationships in your life, and keeping your relationships healthy. And like what I was saying, sometimes you have that every now and then contact, even though you're close. It could be your blood relative, it could be your friend, and you live distances apart and you get along very well and everything, and you enjoy those, and you see each other every now and then, and those relationships last for years and years, forever. And then sometimes you get closer to each other, you might move closer to each other and see each other more often, then you learn more about each other. Some of the characteristics just don't come together. And so I was saying that about an experience that I had and we had when we moved closer together, and then started seeing some traits and things that came out that were harmful and hurtful. So sometimes I think a now and then relationship, meaning when you see each other every now and then. All right, relationships. And I'm not talking about the romantic relationship, anything like that, but it's telling us that we have different types of relationships. And so, what is a relationship? Excuse me. You'll have many different types of relationships throughout your life. Most tend to be categorized as acquaintances, as friends, as family, as romantic partners, as sexual partners, as work colleagues, or situational relationships. Each type comes with different expectations, with different benefits and challenges. Different benefits and challenges. I like this piece. Interpersonal relationships are a vital part of life. Interpersonal relationships are a vital part of life. They can range from close and intimate to distant and challenging. No matter the nature of the relationship, different types of relationships have formed the social support network that is pivotal for physical and mental well-being. And we're going to look at this at a glance. And so we all we make all kinds of connections with other people over the course of our lives. Some of these are positive relationships that help us feel a sense of belonging. Others can be less helpful or may even have negative effects on our mental health and well-being. To better understand and discuss these relationships accurately, it can be helpful to learn more about the different types of relationships a person can have. And I like this. I really do like this. So it says, what is a relationship? It's any connection between two people, which can either be positive, can be either positive or negative. That's a relationship. You can have a relationship with a wide range of people, including family and friends. The phrase being in a relationship, while often linked with romantic relationships, can refer to various associations one person has with another. And to be in a relationship doesn't always mean there's physical intimacy, emotional attachment, and or commitment involved. People engage in many different types of relationships that have unique characteristics. So, excuse me, basic types of relationships. Relationships typically fall into one of the several different categories, although these can sometimes overlap. Okay, we're very well mined today on this piece right here. There's family relationships, friendships, acquaintances, romantic relationships, sexual relationships, work relationships, situational relationships, which are sometimes called situationships. Okay, so these different forms of relationship can vary greatly in terms of closeness, and there are also different subtypes of relationships within each of these basic types. So, some of the different kinds of relationships that you might experience at some point in your life include the following. Here we go. They include platonic relationships. A platonic relationship is a type of friendship that involves a close, intimate bond without sex or romance. So these relationships tend to be characterized by closeness, fondness, understanding, respect, care, support, honesty, acceptance. Platonic relationships can occur in a wide range of settings and can involve same-sex or opposite-sex friendships. So you might form a platonic friendship relationship with a classmate or a coworker, or you might make a connection with a person in another setting, such as a club, an athletic activity, or volunteer organization you are involved in. And I'm going to put in the church too. All right, they left that out here. All right, so you can meet these people and form a platonic relationship in many places. So this type of relationship can play an essential role in providing social support, which is essential for your health and well-being. This is very important. We all need some type of relationship with another human being. Okay, with another human being. This type of relationship can play an essential role in providing social support, which is essential for your health and well being. Research suggests that platonic friendships can help reduce your risk for disease, lower your risk for depression or anxiety, and boost your immunity. How about that? Platonic relationships involve closeness and friendship without sex. All right, we got that. That's what a platonic relationship is. It's a closeness and friendship without sex. Sometimes platonic relationships can change over time and shift into romantic or sexual relationships. Examples might include a friends with benefits or a friends to lovers situation. I've heard of the friends with benefits, but the friends to lovers situation, I haven't heard that phrase before. But hey, there it is. You learn as you go along. The next is a romantic relationship. We just left a platonic relationship. Now we're going to the romantic relationship. Romantic relationships are those characterized by feelings of love and attraction for another person. While romantic love can vary, it often involves feelings of infatuation, intimacy, and commitment. Experts have come up with a variety of different ways to describe how people experience and express love. For example, psychologist Robert Sternberg suggests three main components of love, and those are passion, intimacy, and decision/commitment. Romantic love, he explains, is a combination of passion and intimacy. Man, we're learning some good old stuff today, huh? Romantic relationships tend to change over time. At the start of a relationship, when people are first falling in love, people typically experience stronger feelings of passion. During this initial infatuation period, the brain releases specific neurotransmitters, which is dopamine, you've heard of that before, oxytocin, you've heard of that before, and serotonin. You've heard of that before, that cause people to feel euphoric and in love. Those chemicals in the system. Over time, these feelings start to lessen in their intensity. People develop deeper levels of emotional intimacy and understanding as the relationship matures. We never do get tired of learning, do we? I know even though we've gone over some of these before, but it never hurts to reiterate some of these things and bring them back to mind. Romantic relationships often burn hot at the beginning. That's why we often feel like we can't stop thinking about the object of our affection and want to be near them all the time. While the initial feelings of passion usually lessen in strength over time, feelings of trust, emotional intimacy, and commitment grow stronger. All right. It's nice to remember those things. It's like some people say, remember this. While the initial feelings of passion usually lessen in strength over time, feelings of trust, emotional intimacy, and commitment grow stronger. Now we go to the codependent relationships. Codependent relationships. Did you know anybody that has been in a codependent relationship or you're in a codependent relationship? But we're going to talk about this. A codependent relationship or codependent relationships. A codependent relationship is an imbalanced, dysfunctional type of relationship in which a partner has an emotional, physical, or mental reliance on the other person. It's also common for both partners to be mutually codependent on each other. Both may take turns enacting the caregiving role or the caretaker role, alternating between the caretaker and the receiver of care. That sounds messed up, but I think probably all of us have had a little sample of that somewhere in our life. But it can be very hard, very hard. And you see emotionally, all of that it can mess somebody up. Characteristics of codependent relationship include acting as a giver while the other person acts as a taker. Next, going to great lengths to avoid conflict with the other person. Next, feeling like you have to ask permission to do things. Next, having to save or rescue the other person from their own actions. The next one is doing things to make someone happy, even if they make you uncomfortable. Feeling like you don't know who you are in the relationship. Elevating the other person, even if they've done nothing to earn your goodwill and admiration. And that's messed up, isn't it? But there are millions of people in this kind of relationship, codependent relationship. Not all codependent relationships are the same, however. They can vary in terms of severity. Codependency can impact and all different types of relationships, including relationships between romantic partners, between parents and children, between friendships and other family members, and even co-workers. Codependency. So codependent relationships are co-constructed. While one partner might seem more needy, The other partner might feel more comfortable being needed. And that's true. And that's where we really get in trouble because some people love the people to depend on them. And then some people love to depend on other people to the point where sometimes for both of them, that's when the relationship gets toxic, but then they stay with each other forever. That's just the way they feel that they have to live. The people don't have to live like that. They don't have to live like that. Someone who feels more comfortable being needed, for instance, may avoid focusing on their own needs by choosing a partner who constantly needs them. And do you know that some people get addicted to having someone to depend on them? I mean, hey, some people like to control other people's lives. And then some people like for other people to control their lives. And sometimes they complain and they talk to other people about it and then we try to help them and to get them strong enough to get out of the situation in a safe way. And the more you talk, the more you pray, the more you try to help and give the assistance, the more avenues you give them to help them to get out of it, the deeper into it they get. Have you ever talked to someone and tried to help someone? Or have you ever been in a situation where people are trying to help you and then you were just like this, stayed in it. But then you stay in it so long and then by the grace of God you can get out of it. If you just hear something that sticks in your mind. So we're going to talk about casual relationships next. Casual relationships often involve dating relationships that may include sex without expectations of monogamy or commitment. However, experts suggest that the term is vague and can mean different things to different people. So, according to the authors of one study published by the Canadian Journal of Human Sexuality, casual relationships can encompass situations such as talking about casual relationships. They can encompass situations such as one night stand, and then they have in here, those calls, those derriere calls, and then you have sex buddies. Wow, okay. And then they have down here friends with benefits. So such relationships often exist on a continuum that varies in the levels of frequency of contact, type of contact, amount of personal disclosure, discussion of the relationship, and degree of friendship. The study found that people with more sexual experience were better able to identify the definitions of these labels compared to people with less sexual experience. Casual relationships are often common among young adults. So as long as casual relationships are marked by communication and consent, they can have several sex positive benefits. They can satisfy the need for sex, intimacy, connection, and companionship without the emotional demands and energy commitment of a more serious relationship. And that, to me, I wonder sometimes how can people just have, like you're saying, casual relationships and don't get emotionally involved. I mean, don't have feelings. I don't see how it can be done. Something is there. If you keep going back to each other, there is some emotional attachment. I know it's got to be. Casual relationships tend to be more common among younger adults, but people of any age can engage in this type of relationship. Consent and communication are key. And next, we're going to the open relationships. And we've heard about these. I would say, no, no, no way, no how. So, open relationships. An open relationship is a type of consensually non monogamous relationship in which one or more partners have sex or relationships with other people. Both people agree to have sex in an with other people in an open relationship, but may have certain conditions or limitations. Open relationships can take place in any type of romantic relationship, whether casual, dating, or marriage. But now I'm talking about these now and then relationships, sometimes good, okay? They can work. But I started out talking about it. Relationship could be kinfolk, when you live distances from each other, you don't see each other for maybe every 2 years, every 3 years, or whatever. And those relationships thrive. And then if you move closer to each other, you learn the characteristics and traits of their behavior and things. Sometimes you will say, "Oh, I wish we had stayed distant from each other, and then I wouldn't know this or they wouldn't know this." So that's what I'm talking about today, because I dig into the relationships also, and going into this about the distant relationships and just with people. This is all really good for us, so we can be reminded of the different types of relationships. And then we're talking now about the open relationship, where it tells us that both people agree to have sex with other people in an open relationship, but may have certain conditions and limitations. Open relationships protect us from any type of romantic relationship, whether casual, dating, or marriage. There tends to be a stigma surrounding non-monogamous relationships. Still, research suggests that around 21% to 22% of adults will be involved in some type of open relationship at some point in their life. Wow. So the likelihood of engaging in an open relationship also depends on gender and sexual orientation. Men reported having higher numbers of open relationships compared to women. People who identify as gay, lesbian, and bisexual were more likely to report previous engagement in open relationships compared to those who identify as heterosexual. So such relationships can have benefits, including increased sexual freedom and pitfalls such as jealousy and emotional pain. Open relationships are more successful when couples establish personal, emotional, and sexual boundaries and clearly communicate their feelings and needs. And don't forget about all these diseases going around too. Some of these things people can't get rid of, and it's just a blessing that many of us escaped this stuff. I'm not saying we were in open relationships, but you don't know, hey, even when you're married, if you're married and the partner always say, you don't know what that partner is doing. So I'm not going to get deeply into that now, but it's a dangerous thing. We've heard of these things and going around like these people doing things with other people, they call them the downer and things like that, and then they end up infecting their spouses with different diseases and all that type of stuff. But this is some dangerous stuff, and I'm going to continue to read this because these things happen. But whether I read it or not, they still happen. And we need to be abreast and knowledgeable about these things that are going on so we can help somebody else. And just thank God when we were in our younger days, and some people in their older days are still doing these things. And be careful out there. Be careful out there. I remember, I think often and thank God for blessings. Because even when you're married, you don't know what's coming into your home. You don't know. You just don't know. All right? So open relationships are a form of consensual non-monogamy And while there is a primary emotional and often physical connection between the two people in the relationship, they mutually agree to intimacy with other people outside the relationship. Thank you for being with me today. Now we're going to these toxic relationships. Have you ever experienced one? I know I have. A toxic relationship is any type of interpersonal relationship where your emotional, physical, or psychological well-being is undermined or threatened in some way. Such relationships often leave you feeling ashamed, humiliated, misunderstood, or unsupported. Any type of relationship can be toxic, including friendships, family relationships, romantic relationships, or workplace relationships. Toxicity is your subject. So here's some signs of toxic types of relationships. Toxic relationships are characterized by a lack of support, blaming, competitiveness, controlling behaviors, disrespect, dishonesty, gaslighting, hostility, 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 jealousy, passive aggressive behaviors, poor communication, and stress. Sometimes all people in a relationship play a role in creating this toxicity. For example, you might be contributing to toxicity if you are all consistently unkind, critical, insecure, and negative. And there are some very toxic people in this world. You try and you try and you try to get along, you try to please them, and they just will not let you please them, even though you might. Some people just mean and hateful. So in other cases, one person in a relationship may behave in ways that create toxic feelings. This may be intentional, but in other cases, people may not fully understand how they are affecting other people. So because of their past experiences with relationships, often in their home, growing up, they may not know any other way of acting and communicating. And I say, and I will continue to say that in our home, thank God. That's why I don't understand, I think, sometimes people like to get you to themselves and they see when you've been treated well and everything, they have to get you to themselves so they can take control of you. And I think that almost always happens because somebody go there. They do. Just to mistreat you, just to control you. And even if you're successful, some people try to, they see you successful, and this is hard to swallow sometimes, but it happens. They want to get with you so that they can just try to bring you down. And what does it cut you down to size? I saw a movie. Oh yes, it's a series where this lady was very successful, her own company doing well. She had rich clients doing well, and so one of her clients got her attention and married her. She gave up her business, and he beat her and beat her and beat her and controlled the money and everything. And then she didn't realize until later, after something tragic had happened, that that was his aim all along. We have to really be careful. And that's why it was to us. Well, ask God this and ask God that. I think now, ask God to search Him for your mate. All right? Ask Him and listen to Him. Okay? All right. Now, talking about this doesn't create discontentment. Toxic relationships can take a serious toll on mental health. Yes, they can. For example, according to one study, stress caused by negative relationships has a direct impact on cardiovascular health and feeling isolated and misunderstood in a relationship can also lead to loneliness, which has been shown to have detrimental effects on both physical and mental health. Have you ever been so hurt that you're embarrassed to talk about the hurt that you've been through? And some people just like to beat you down emotionally and then physically too. They will, some people will do that. So it's very important. That's why for marriage counseling, get some help before you get into it. Get some help before you get into it. Toxic relationships can be stressful, harmful, and even abusive. If you are in a toxic relationship with someone in your life, work on creating strong boundaries to protect yourself. Talk to a mental health professional or consider terminating the relationship if it is causing you harm. And that's why I tell you, and I use Celeste's phrase, get some yonder. That's the phrase she uses. And here's the numbers here. I'm going to give it with you. If you are a loved one or a victim of domestic violence, contact the National Domestic Violence Hotline, which is 1-800-759-7233 for confidential assistance from trained advocates. You need some help. You need some help. If you're in a toxic relationship, please get some help. And then I also say, that you need to be wise. You have to be wise. You can't tell everybody what your plans are, and you have to make some preparations, but you have to make them kind of in a hurry, but make the good decisions and plans on your escape. Okay? And then don't talk too much. Some people talk so much. Well, if you do that again, I'm gonna leave you. I'm gonna take the children. I'm gonna leave you. Honey, no, don't do that. Please, sir, please, man, don't do that. Make your plans. Be discreet. Be wise. Okay? And work your way out of that situation some way, somehow. Okay? Now we're going to define the types of relationships in your life. How do you define your relationship? How you define it depends on various factors, including what matters to you and how that affects your feels. So to define your relationship, it can be helpful to ask a few questions. Do you have romantic feelings for one another? What does each person hope to get out of the relationship? How much time do you want to spend together? Where do you see the relationship going? Are you currently involved with or want to be involved with other people? Figuring out what matters to you and your partner is an important step in defining the type of relationship you are interested in having. So, you might find that you are both on the same page or discover that you want different things out of your relationship. So, defining a relationship doesn't have to mean committing for the long term. Instead, it can be a way to help you both better understand the boundaries and expectations of your relationship. You know what? I don't see any sense in being in a relationship, especially if there's some romance and some intimacy involved. It makes no sense to just being it, well, that's me. But hey, it's going to be, let it be. Yeah, yeah. which is pretty right. Yeah. And then we can't afford to keep trying one relationship after the other. So that's why I say, and you know, I don't separate my feelings spiritually from the natural. You have to consult God. You have to consult Him and ask Him for what you want. Ask Him to give you direction. How to keep different types of relationships healthy. Regardless of how you define your relationship, here are important steps you can take to ensure that your connection is healthy. Strategies that can help you improve. Strategies that can help you improve. Showing an appreciation and gratitude to your spouse partner, communicating openly and honestly, being affectionate and showing that you care, mutual respect, actively listening, showing interest in each other, being supportive and encouraging, feeling empathy for each other, spending time together, having healthy boundaries, being trustworthy. Communication is often the single most important thing in a relationship. Good relationships are also marked by honesty, trust, and reciprocity. So this doesn't mean that the relationship is purely transactional. It indicates that you naturally engage in a give and take that provides mutually beneficial support. Now, here are some takeaways from what we're talking about. I'm going to get to the distant relationship, okay? No matter what type of relationship you have with another person, it is important for you to be, for it to be a healthy one, okay? No matter what type of relationship you have with another person, it is important for it to be a healthy one. Healthy relationships are characterized by trust, by mutual respect, by openness, honesty, and affection. Good communication is also a key factor. You can take steps to improve your relationships with other people. Two helpful strategies are to let others know you care and show your appreciation. But if a relationship is causing stress or showing signs of being toxic, look for ways to establish clear boundaries. Talk to a therapist or even consider ending the relationship if it's taking too much of a toll on your well being. Social relationships are important and they come in all different types. Having a variety of relationships with other people, with different people, can ensure that you have the supportive connection you need, minimize the risk of loneliness and social isolation, and improve your emotional health and well-being. This is really good. This is by Kenya Cherry. I told you by Kenya Cherry. And this is very well known. And I don't know what, let me see what time it is here. Alexa, what time is it? I have 2 minutes ago. Okay. Alexa, raise the volume.
Sorry, I didn't get that. The
Alexa,
internet,
what time is it?
the time is 1:46 p.m.
Okay. You can tell I depend on Alexa. Okay. 13 easy ways to make a long distance friendship work in 2024. So I was going to get to this. And this is lasting the distance. All right. And so it's every now and then relationships can be good. And sometimes we regret that some relationships we had or have are not still just relationships. There are 13 ways to make a long distance relationship work in 2024. There could be several reasons why you and your bestie find yourselves in a long distance friendship. And this was December 31st, 2023, but this was released. It was by Lolo and Nate. It was updated December 31st, 2023. Okay, so one of you may have moved away, you've been out, met online or even on holiday. Whatever the situation, have a mainly friendship and are looking for ways to stay connected and not drift apart. Well, you come to the right place. All right. It's no secret that friendships make us happier, so it's important to keep them strong. So now, how we do that? Okay, sometimes it's best, like I said, to keep that distant relationship. And this is like when you might have been friends in the same place and one moved away from the other. But I think this is going to work out really well for all of us. Okay, so here are top tips on how you can strengthen your long distance relationship no matter what life throws at you. And as you, they have a note here that says, before we begin, we need to tell you to give yourself a pat on the back. Being aware of the situation and wanting to do something about it shows just how much you value your friendship. And it might sound strange to me, but I value the distant relationship rather than the close in proximity relationship. Because when it was distant, it was better than when it got closer. I mean, in distance, living closer to each other. So, how to maintain a long distance relationship? One, gift swap. Studies have shown that sending gifts can make the giver happier than the receiver. It is a great way to let a friend know how much they mean to you and that you're thinking about them. The sharing of gifts is a beautiful experience, and there are some great long distance themed options that have built on your relationship. And now we go to the gifts that they were so go to number two. Keep to a schedule. Keep to a schedule. Keep to a schedule. They say if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And that is true in many areas of life, including long distance friendships. It's easy to go about your regular routine only to find that you've reached the end of the day and forgotten about the loose plans to video chat with your friends. So if this happens too many times, you'll start to feel you're drifting apart. Like even when you excuse me, please. Even when you have these relationships, even a distant relationship like video chatting, that's still good too. The video chat's good. So it's a brilliant idea to schedule a time when you are both going to be free. This is especially important if you're in different time zones and have limited time when you're both available. So even if it's just a 5 minute update, schedule it in and you will feel better for it. Number three, continue shared interests. Okay? You're friends for a reason, right? It could be that you both love the same music, type of movies, or sports team. Make sure that you continue to share a love for whatever connected you in the first place and talk about them often. Now, here's a note. If you find an article or video or something that interests both of you, don't hesitate to share it. A couple of texts, and you can have it directly attached in your chat conversation. It also it's also a subtle way to show your friendship seeing that they are never far from you in the thought. And number four, watch movies and shows together. This all works very well, and sometimes it can keep from getting to that point where you regret being closer together. Watch movies and shows together. Then who doesn't like to relax and watch movies and shows? Then number five is collab or mixtape. So mix some good content for us. Okay, then you can do the what is it? play online games together. You can do that. You can do that with your family and friends that live distance from you and all that and still enjoy each other. And it's the seven, two-person book club, eight, send physical letters. I like that. I like sometimes just send a letter. And I do it in longhand. I haven't done it in a while. Number nine, visit each other. That's good. If you visit each other, you go visit their friend and go home, and the friend comes visit you and go home. And sometimes that keeps a relationship forever. Number 10, continue to be open with each other. 11, social media is your ally. 12, get best friend care package. 13, dealing with different time zones. And that is the end of that. So my thing here was that I just thought about the experience that we had, when someone was distant and you got to see each other maybe every 3 years, maybe every 2 years, but you kept in communication, you talk with each other, not every day, sometimes maybe once a month, once every 2 months, but when you got together physically, you were just so happy, happy, happy to be together with each other. And then you go back home, or they go back home, whoever came to visit or whatever, and then you do it again in another 3 years. And usually the way we do it is that they come see us, and then the next time we go see them. And those relationships last, and you enjoy each other and appreciate each other more. And sometimes when people move closer to you and you see each other more often, and like I was saying, you love each other and cherish each other. Sometimes it's just good enough to know all of those characteristics and habits and things that people have that can sometimes be enlightening, and they could be, what is it, make you happy. Sometimes they can make you sad when you find out how people really are. That's the main thing that I'm trying to get at. I'm not saying that everybody is going to turn out bad for everybody, but I'm just going by an experience that I have. So taking care of those, and that's what I'm talking about when I say the now and then relationship, when you see each other every now and then and maintain that wonderful, strong bond in that relationship. So that's it for today. And I thank you so much for joining me and made it through. Yeah, and I'm so I enjoy doing the webcast so much. And then I've been thinking about the Lord, the sinus is still bothering me, but then I feel physically well enough to do it. So that's why I came here and did it. Okay? So the every now and then relationship. Every now and then relationship. So thank you so much. You can contact me, and I really appreciate you. And if you have experiences like this, hey, you can contact me. You can phone me. I think my email address on there too. If you have ideas for a webcast, something you'd like me to discuss, I'm looking forward to studying so much. And I really want to do that. So thank you so much for joining me today. I appreciate you being here with me. You are awesome, and I just thank God for you. And I'm praying for you, and please continue to pray for me. Like I said, even though you can hear how the effects of the sinus situation I'm experiencing, but I'm not sick. I'm just grateful to God, and it's just wonderful good. But these things come, these things happen, and hey, I have to have things just like you do, and we all do. And we take them in stride and we do the best thing to help us recuperate from them. Enjoy the remainder of your day, and God willing, you can good. This Thursday. The Mother's Board Inc. will be on tomorrow at 1 p.m. I love you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.